Welcome to Training Bytes, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. This month's topic is offline ticket entry. Little housekeeping. If you have any questions, please enter them on the toolbar. You should see a Q&A option. Enter your questions there. If for some reason you don't see a Q&A on your screen, you can use the chat, but we do prefer the Q&A. We will answer the questions at the end. My name is Marty Katz. I've got about 20 years of experience with NCR Counterpoint, and I got somebody who's not muted. Hold on one second, trying to figure out how to fix that. Oh, now y'all are all looking muted. Okay. So I'm a project lead here at CNK Systems, and I've got about 20 years of experience with NCR Counterpoint. And not with us today is Gina Thomas, our training manager here at CNK. She had some technical difficulties with her internet. So she's not in today. Sitting in for her is, well, I won't say sitting in for her, but also present is Dana Womack, our support manager here at CNK, and she'll be trying to keep me on track. Good luck with that, Dana. I know you try that every day.
Hi.
All righty. So let's talk about offline ticket entry. So worst case scenario, you come in to work in the morning and your server has crashed, or your internet is down, or your server needs to be rebooted. Your tech guy comes in and says, I've got to apply these emergency patches, so I'm going to have to take your server offline for 15, 20 minutes. So you can't run sales and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Not a good situation to be in. Double clicked. You have lost sales revenue. You have payroll going to pay people to stand around and try and look busy. And if you can't ring sales, it's going to be particularly frustrating because your customers who have come to your store, hopefully you're a destination for them. They come in and they can't buy anything, and they may go across the street and your neighbor has a sale and you don't. And your sales associates are frustrated too because they're bored. So let's talk about what offline ticket entry can do for you in this situation. So we're going to discuss what is offline, the benefits, what it can do, limitations, what it can't do. We're going to go over daily processes if you're using offline ticket entry. And we're going to talk about how to test your system. And we're going to take a look. It says under the hood, but we're just sort of going to take a look and just say, so these are some simple things I can check if there's a problem. Okay. So what is offline ticket entry? It is a local install of Counterpoint on your server. It is not on your server, on your point of sale machine. It is a slimmed down version of the company's database. You don't have, a custom, a Counterpoint database can get quite large very quickly as it has sales history. Sales history takes up lots of space. Purchase orders and transfers, all of that stuff takes up space in a database. What we do is we slim down the company database to have what it takes to run a ticket. Each workstation has its own copy of the database and they run independently of each other. So that means that you may not see sales. You won't see sales from other stations. You won't see changes in inventory that take place as you run sales. The benefit is that it allows you to continue to ring sales. It is offline ticket entry. You can ring sales if you can't connect to your main Counterpoint server. It's great for network outages, power failures, scheduled server maintenance. Like I said, the IT guy comes in and says, I've got to apply this patch. I've got to do it today, and it's going to take you offline. Sidewalk sales. I've got a customer who calls me about once a month and says, hey, I need to make sure that my offline is working for my sidewalk sale that's coming up. Actually, I think in his case, it's a parking lot sale. Also, you can take a point of sale station to a trade show and you can ring sales there. When it gets back to the internet, to where you have internet, it will update the server. It can be used any place you run Counterpoint. If you're running in a local area network, you got your server in the back room and you got a bunch of point of sale stations, that's fine. It'll also work in a wide area network. Say you have your server is in our hosted cloud. You lose internet, or we lose internet in our hosted cloud. You can run that, and it also works for multi-site. So it's a backup for any Counterpoint install. One of the things that we found through the years is that it can actually make things a tiny bit faster. Not great faster, but we do have customers who've decided that they're just going to run in offline mode all the time for their point of sale machines because it's a little faster, keeps things moving, because we don't have to fight with the network to get to saving a ticket or something like that, particularly if you have a big install running off of one server. What you can't do in offline ticket entry. Number one, you cannot void a ticket in offline mode. Okay, once you complete a ticket, it's there. If someone needs to, if normally you would do a void, someone will have to go into online mode and do a void, or you'll have to do a refund. You can't close your drawers. You can count your drawer, but you can't reconcile and post that drawer. You can take payments on account, but what you can't do is apply that payment, because part of that slimmed down database is that we don't have the AR transactions in this offline database. So you can't say, I'm going to put $100 on this ticket, or you can't say, I'm going to can't modify user preferences. You cannot create or maintain gift registries. You can sell off of a gift registry, but you can't edit or create a new gift registry. You can't send messages from one computer to another. If you're using the message center, you can send out alerts to your staff saying, hey, be sure and push this topic or this item, or be sure and stay late for a meeting. It will not show up in offline mode. No back office functionality. What do we mean by that? You can't create purchase orders. You can't receive purchase orders. You can't initiate or apply transfers. Any of those things, you can't do customer adjustments. You can't do inventory adjustments. Those are all back office functionality. The only thing you have is views. And when we get into this system, I'll show you what I mean. So like if you click on purchasing, all you'll be able to do is view vendors. Another thing you can't do in offline mode is recall existing quotes. So if someone came in yesterday and you did a quote for them and they say, hey, I decided to buy it, you're going to have to re-ring that ticket or wait till you get back in online mode because there's no recalling of the quotes and you can't process layaways. You can process orders, but
You
does
have a
someone have me
terrible
not
echo.
muted? Does someone have me unmuted again? Okay, redo the mute. Go back to my slideshow. Okay, under certain conditions, you can process layaways. Excuse me, under certain conditions, you can process orders. If that's something that you think you're going to want to do, let us know and we'll go over how to make that work. So, all right, Marty, that sounds great. How do I set up this offline ticket entry? So the first thing is, do you have the option? So generally when we make a sale, we're going to encourage you to purchase offline ticket entry. If you take a look here under setup system registration, these are things that NCR sells that will enhance your Counterpoint system, advanced pricing, the ability to run credit cards that aren't the preferred processor, kits and bills of material, accounts receivable, serial numbers. And this one right here that we've conveniently highlighted in red, offline ticket entry. Now, if you happen to go to set up system registration and you see that you don't have this check, don't check it. It won't turn it on for you and it might break your registration file. So don't do that. But this is where you can check to see if you already own the offline option. If you don't own it and you'd like it, of course, we can take care of that for you. So in Counterpoint, we're all familiar with all the options that are available when you log into ticketing, when you log into Counterpoint. You've got point of sale, you've got customers, you've got inventory, you got purchasing, you got sales history, e-commerce, data interchange, and there's a bunch of things under these system and setup system functionalities that if we clicked through, we'd be able to see them on the main menu. When you log into offline mode, well, some things just disappeared, didn't they? We no longer have sales history. We no longer have data interchange. We no longer have e-commerce here. So you see, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things on a standard main menu. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on a custom on an offline menu. But what you can do is you can access touchscreen ticket entry and some related point of sales reports. You can add and edit customer records. That is something that we can do in Counterpoint in offline mode. You can update some workstation specific settings. So things that only affect this workstation, you can change. You can configure point of sale devices because if you're going to be ringing tickets in offline mode, you're going to need your point of sale devices, your cash drawers, your receipt printers, your payment terminals, poll displays if you use those. And then you can view but not modify items or vendors. You can look at them, you can look them up, you can see how many you had when you went into offline mode or the last time it updated while you were in offline mode, but you can't see, you can't edit those transactions. So how to operate in offline mode? It's pretty simple. On your desktop, you probably have a shortcut that says something similar to this. NCR Counterpoint Offline POS, or it might just say Counterpoint offline, or you might have a separate folder, which is what I like to do when I'm doing a setup. I like to put a folder on the desktop that says offline, and I'll want to put the shortcut in there. And the reason I do that is really simple. I don't want someone accidentally going into offline mode. Okay, so how to operate in mode, you click on the shortcut. You should see this in the lower left-hand corner where it says offline. It will not be highlighted in red for you. And you log into Counterpoint with your regular user ID and password. If your password doesn't work, try your old one, okay? But that would be a very big clue that your Counterpoint is not ready for offline mode. Because if your password isn't updated, what else isn't updated? Okay, so we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, you want to activate your drawers. Okay, if you have not been in Counterpoint already that day, you came in the morning, you start in offline mode. You start in offline mode, you want to activate a drawer. Point of sale, drawers, drawer activate. Enter your user ID, password, select your drawer, click on activate, put in your counts, how much money am I starting the day with, and process your sales transactions as usual. If you go to activate your drawer and you may get this message, cannot activate drawer. Drawer already has active sessions on file. Okay, well, what does that mean? You've already got an active drawer on file, so get out of here, go ring your sales, okay? In offline mode, at the end of the day, you can count those drawers. So you go to point of sale drawers, drawer count, enter user and password, select your stored drawer, click on count. You got all the same features or tools, like you have the little count utilities and things like that. So they're still there, right? But you want to count at the end of the day. In offline and in full-blown Counterpoint, online Counterpoint, you want to run an edit list and you want to compare to make sure that all these tickets here that were rung in offline mode also show up in online mode. And we'll take a look at that when we get into the software. You want to make sure that if you have a ticket in offline mode, before you can't post your drawer, you have your tickets there as well. You want to make sure you're not missing any tickets, and we can actually filter, excuse me, we can actually filter the ticket edit list to show just your offline ticket. Pardon me while I get a little sip of water here. All right. Closing the offline drawer. So when you're back into your live system, you can go into drawer management and you can go use the drawer reconcile, or you can use the ticket post, whatever way y'all usually do things in online mode. You can do that. And you see here, we've got a drawer that was created. When we look in drawer management, we can see this drawer was created in offline mode. This drawer was not created in offline mode. Don't know how we got them in that order, but that's our dummy database for you. But you want to be sure that you come in here, you can count, you can reconcile, you can post. So how does all this thinking of data happen? Okay. So Counterpoint, the offline database communicates with the online database with this program called the Radiant Counterpoint Services, or CP Services. There's always some way of saying it differently. So runs every 15 minutes, your offline database scans and says, all right, it looks like we got some new tickets, we've got some new customers, we have made a change to our devices. we logged in, and you log in at the beginning of the day, it still has the same rules that online Counterpoint has. So if your password is 90 days old, you go to log into Counterpoint, it's going to say, hey, you need to change your password. And that also gets extracted and pushed up to the server every 15 minutes. In turn, the server is doing the same thing. It's checking to say, hey, what do we need to send down to our offline stations? And it actually keeps track of what needs to go to which station. So you won't get things that aren't, well, I'll take that back. You should not get things that are not station specific to you, right? To your station, right? And then I call the Radiant Counterpoint service, I call it the pest, because it's constantly going out to the server once a minute and says, hey, what you got for me? Hey, what you got for me? So you keep pushing.
Marty,
In
I
your
think you cut out on us again. Can you repeat that last part?
Maybe. So
you were talking about the
yes,
Counterpoint being a pest, and then it kind of
the Radiant Counterpoint being a pest. It's always going there, and it should be checking the server and saying, hey, what you got for me? Hey, what you got for me? And when it finds something, it passes, they exchange the data. If the station has something to send up, it will. If the server has something to push down, it will. In your system tray, down there next to the time, you should see a little square that looks like this, which is very indistinct and hard to see. But that is a white square with a blue circle on it, like we see over here. And it may or may not have a red X. I think that one has a red X. This one doesn't have a red X. But if you see a red X here, it just means that we're going to have to do a little bit of work. But let's go over some of the other functions back here. So when you double click on that icon, it'll open up the CP services status window. And here it says, what's our connection status? Well, we're connected. My workstation service is connected to the server service. And it was last connected, in this case, on 10/21 at 8:49 in the morning. The local service should be my PC. The remote service should be the server. In this case, and in the way that I have mine set up, it's the same thing. They're just set up and they're exchanging data with itself. It's a little thing that Counterpoint will let you do. Here's what was really interesting. Our last upload time, that's not so important unless you've been in offline mode recently. But that last download time, that's really important because that means that it has sent data down and processed in. And think about your system. Your system's always having data changes. Users are changing passwords. Quantities are changing. New items are being created. New customers are being created. So when even if you don't go in offline mode for a year, which we'll talk about in a second, that last download time should be very current. We also have these other options here: extract now, configure local services, viewing the log. You don't want to view the log. It'll give you a headache. At least it gives me a headache when I have to do it. All right. If your ticket's waiting extraction is greater than 0, you can hit extract now. That'll make it a little bit quicker instead of waiting a few minutes to do the data extraction. The same thing, when you hit that extract now, this should go to 0 and this should go to 1 or 2 or whatever. That will push the data up. and you want to run your edit list and make sure that your offline tickets appear on the report. And your offline tickets will usually start with the word OFF or OF, depending on how tight we are for space on your ticket numbers. But it's just a way of quickly seeing, is this an offline ticket or online ticket? There's lots of other ways to tell, but this is a way that's real visual, real quick. Weekly best practices. Weekly, okay? You don't want, this is like you're going on a road trip and you don't want to go in the middle of 695 or Interstate 70 and find out that you've got a flat tire and no air in the spare. This is your spare. You want to make sure you have air on in it. So you want to log into offline once a week, activate a drawer, and ring a sale or two. You don't have to ring 100 sales. You don't have to run it at offline all day, but you do want to ring a sale. You can count and run the edit list. Check your CP services status and make sure that the tickets have synced. Log into the full live online Counterpoint, run the edit list, and make sure that your tickets are there. If you use, if you do your counting and reconciling in a back office, as opposed to on the point of sale machine, make sure that the people back there know you ran an offline mode so that they'll check before they do the count. Because now we don't have the same people counting, reconciling, posting as we have ringing the sales. Testing offline. If the tickets awaiting extraction is greater than 0, we just covered that. You want to click on extract now, wait 2 or 3 minutes and make sure that the edit list is updated. And you want to post sales or void tickets before you post. When to contact support. Okay. This says if we had the little red X there, the first thing that I would do if I had the little red X there is wait or open up this and see when the last upload download time are, or if there are packages queued. If there's no packages queued, there's no tickets waiting extraction, the last upload time is a recent time. Sometimes that little icon can be misleading. You also, when you run that edit list, and the offline edit list and the online edit list do not match, call support. We can usually, I will say 99.9% of the time, we can find those tickets. We know where they are. In fact, I would say even closer to 100 than that. You might, if you see that red X, right click on that and choose configure local services. If it comes up and it says start here under the start, hit that start button. It should move that to stop, and that will say stop. And what you'll do then is wait a minute. The data should sync. If for some reason it moves from being stop here to start over here again, you want to call support. It means there's something wrong with your service and it's not running properly. All right, so let's take a look at the software. And let's take a look here. All right, so this is offline mode. And I know it's offline mode because I don't have as many things here, okay? So I'm gonna skip the count because there's one thing that if you do count, you get one message. If you do go straight into touchscreen, you're gonna get a different message here. So I'm gonna put in my user ID and my password. There are no active sessions on file for this drawer. Was this drawer activated prior to losing connectivity? If you say yes, this drawer was activated prior to losing connectivity, it will sync these tickets that you're gonna ring into that drawer session. That's not an option if you use drawer activate. Drawer activate will say you already have that drawer session on file. You already have a drawer session on file, but it won't ask you if you had one before. A little bit of a, okay, I can't auto activate my drawer. Can I activate my drawer? Store East. I did test this, I swear. Okay. I'm gonna put in my $100, maybe. I turn my numlock on. Drawer is activated, close. Go back into touchscreen. Counterpoint, you're trying to scare me today, huh? Bear with me, my little laptop's slow. And we all know about the slowest thing you can do in Counterpoint is load up ticket entry. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go to the snack bar. I'm going to order me a hamburger. If you notice down here in the lower left-hand corner, it says I'm not clocked in, and it says I'm running in offline mode. Okay, so that's a visual cue that you're in offline mode. And I'm going to pay for this with a $5 bill. Notice my ticket number, OFF, because it's offline, E, because I'm in my E store, and ticket 1 probably means I'm in drawer 1, and then 00005 means it's the 5th ticket I've run in offline mode. So I'm going to click close here, and I'm going to pop over here real quick, and let's just see what the status is over here. Show and hide all. And my last upload time, it was so fast, it extracted it and sent it up before I could even get here. Double check. Yeah. Oh, I told a lie. I hit extract. I've still got another package here. It will be uploaded in a minute or so. And we'll see that in offline and when we go into the online mode. Here's my edit list. There is an edit list coming, I promise. Here we go. Preview this. I've got one ticket, number 5. Okay. All right, purchasing. So we see usually you go into purchasing, you got lots of stuff in here. Normally you go into inventory, you would see transfers and lots of stuff in here. All we have is views. You can view items, view inventory detail, view serial numbers if you have the serial number option. Okay. And does this let us see? Oh, and also here is our setup system registration. And you can see that I own the offline option. Actually, I own every option. Okay, let's take a look at online Counterpoint. And let's take a look and preview my edit list. What do you know? This is online mode and my ticket came up. And that's the most important thing that we can do in Counterpoint is go in here, ring a ticket, go in offline mode, ring a ticket, make sure that that data syncs back down. Because if it, or syncs up to the server, because otherwise you can ring sales in here and then, you know, we're working at night to try and get them synced up. You call on you test this during the week, and then if something happens on the weekend, we already know it's going to work. And so, but we can fix a lot of things with offline ticket entry, but what we can't do is fix it while your server's down. So once you need it, you're sort of stuck until we can get it back. All right, so let's take a look at where we are. So what did we learn? We learned what offline ticket entry is and some of the benefits of using it. We've also learned of what you can't do. We went over daily processes, activating the drawer, running sales, that type of activity. And then finally, we saw some of the things that we can do with the Radiant Counterpoint services, just a little troubleshooting that you can do before you call support. But that's why you have a support agreement, I hope, is that you can call support and have us help you if you have a problem. So how did we do? You can share your feedback and topic suggestions. This on Friday, you should get a link to the survey plus a link to this webinar. You will probably not get a link to the morning one because that one did not go well. All right, you can, if you can't wait till you get that email, you can go to www.cksystem.com/training bytes survey, all one word, like you see there, and fill out the survey. You can also leave topic suggestions for future future sessions. We are working on 2025 to see what we're going to be talking about next year. If for some reason, not for some reason, that's sort of silly. If you need training that's more tailored to your business, that's not looking at demo golf, you want to see what your users can or can't do in offline mode on your system, give us a call. You can schedule some training by calling 888-476-7911, extension 3, or you can send an email to training@cksystem.com. Next month, people always think that December is the most wonderful time of the year. Well, there's another most wonderful time of the year, and that's doing your physical inventory, because we all know that your physical inventory is very important for identifying shrinkage, finding problems in your processes. If your inventory is way off, you've got something going on. If it's a little off, you have shrinkage. So we'll be covering physical inventory, things that you can do to prepare for your physical inventory, hopefully learn a trick or two in doing your physical count. So when you get that email next week, reserve your spot, and we'll go over everything you want to know about physical inventory, but didn't really want to ask. So there we go. All right, Q&A.
Hi. Lisa asks, hi, Marty. So can you only take cash and not credit cards and offline?
Okay, so that's an interesting thing, and people get credit cards and offline confused sometimes. So if your internet is down and then you would have trouble processing credit cards. One of the things that we'll be covering in March of next year is something called store and forward credit cards. So if you don't have to have a connection to the server. So we'll use the example of the server crashed, but you have internet. You can run credit cards straight in offline mode as long as that point of sale machine can get on the internet. If you can't connect to the server and your internet's down, then we do have that store and forward. You can take a look at it in the help files, or you can shoot us an email to support, or you can wait until March when I cover everything you wanted to know about store and forward. But yes, if you don't have internet, then you are limited in what you can do in offline mode. Any other questions? That looks like the only one. Anybody want to jump in with another question? Because I've got some time. If not, I appreciate your time and coming and processing, learning a little bit more about offline ticket entry. And we'll go ahead and end today's session. I appreciate your time.
There is one more quick question.
One more quick question?
Yep, it came up in the chat.
Oh, it came up
says,
in the chat. I'm not looking there.
Yeah, it's okay. Can you do order entry?
Yes, you can create orders in offline mode. And in certain situations, you can process orders, but it's a little bit of a tricky thing. So if you think that that'll be something that you're interested in, let us know and we can discuss it a little bit more. Not a lot of people do orders, and so processing them in offline mode won't be a big deal to them, but it has to do with what's available, why you're running in offline mode. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we'll chat soon. See you next month.
Y'all have a great week.
Day.